guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to film a book review, and the book I'm going to be talking about is called The City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. Now this is one of my favorite books of 2019. I just finished reading it. It is about, I think, 466 pages. So City of Girls is basically about a 90-year-old woman named Vivian Morris who receives a letter from a girl named Angela. And Angela basically asks in this letter, what did my father mean to you? Like, what was the relationship between Vivian and Angela's father? So the story basically talks about that, but it starts off by talking about Vivian's life from the 40s to the 70s. So the story basically centers on young Vivian's life when she was 19 years old in New York City during the 40s. The story starts off with Vivian Morris leaving the Vassar College, basically because she was just bored. So she goes back home to Clinton, and then her parents decide to send her to New York City to live with her Aunt Peg. So she goes to New York City and falls instantly in love with New York City, and so she goes to live with her Aunt Peg at the Lily Playhouse, a theater. So Vivian ends up making friends with the showgirls. Cecilia is one of the showgirls she ends up being roommates with, and they end up being like really close friends. And Vivian also finds passion for sewing. She's actually really good at sewing. She learned it from her grandmother. Now she sews costumes for the actors. So Vivian ends up becoming so engulfed in the glamorous world of showbiz and New York City. She ends up going out at night with her best friend Cecilia, and they go look for like wild adventures. She discovers at a young age about her sexuality. The story basically centers on Vivian's life when she was 19 in New York City. Then she ends up meeting Edna Watson Parker, famous actress. So Edna basically opens the door to Vivian's passion for sewing and fashion, and she ends up sewing pieces and dresses for Edna. Vivian also meets her uncle Billy. Billy is really interesting. He has a very humorous personality, and when you see him and Peg together, you can definitely tell they had a genuine relationship. So when it comes to characters, you have Aunt Peg, Billy, Cecilia, Edna, and most of these people play a very important role in Vivian's life, as well as Olive, the assistant to Aunt Peg. So due to Vivian's lifestyle of like going out at night does eventually lead her to a big problem. Scandal happens in the book that is like this really big problem that affects everyone around her. The scandal is so huge that it actually causes Vivian to run back home to Clinton. Vivian ends up going back to Clinton, and that is where she just spends time with her family. She tries to kind of like hide the mistakes that she made before. So because World War II played such a big role in this book, so the war started in the 40s, and you see how it affects the people around her. You see how it affected Walter. For him to leave Princeton to join the Navy, her Aunt Peg comes back to pick her up to bring her to New York City. She goes back to New York. So this is where Vivian becomes more comfortable with her sexuality, and she just lives the life that she wants, and she's unapologetic about it. She also realizes that she doesn't need to confine into societal norms because most women around her is getting married and having kids, but Vivian decides like that's not the lifestyle she wants. One thing I noticed about the book is that, especially when Vivian was younger, is that a lot of people tried to change her. Her brother Walter tried to change her. Her parents really wanted her to just settle down, get married, and they said like that's the perfect life for her. But she didn't want that. She didn't want to just settle down and get married. Even though she's from a privileged family, she just wanted to live her own life, live in the city, and just be happy. And Vivian becomes more comfortable in her own self. Vivian also meets the love of her life when she's older, and this person plays such an important role in her life. And I feel like when she meets him, it's the perfect time when she met this person. So this person basically comes into her life. They had something in common that kind of binds them together, and they become really close. Now, I really love this relationship because it was such a raw relationship between two people. These two characters respect each other and support each other in what they do. The thing I love is that he never judged her for the lifestyle she lived. So Vivian and this guy both come from different backgrounds. Vivian learns to be a good friend and a good listener. When she is with this guy, they just talk for like hours. They basically have like these night walks and they would just talk about their lives. So overall, I really loved this book. I enjoyed how the character did grow as a person. In the beginning of the book, or the main point of the book, is just basically about Vivian's life in New York City when she was 19 years old and all the craziness that she went through. She did make a lot of mistakes, and one of the things I did not like about this character is that she was more of a follower. She tended to follow a lot of people like Cecilia, Edna, and she never really knew who she was and what she wanted. So that was just like the one thing I didn't like about Vivian, but I did like older Vivian, the Vivian she was in the 50s and the 60s. I thought she was really mature. So this book, I give it a 5 out of 5 because I just really loved the glamorous lifestyle of the 40s, and I really loved the Lily Playhouse. I thought it was so cool. Such an amazing backdrop, New York City and all the glamour. So that is City of Girls. If you guys would like to see more videos like this in the future, please comment and like in the description box below. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.